Hi friends, on this month's show we're exploring different aspects of love, including how to practically demonstrate love to those in need, where to go in Nashville with those you love, and how to embrace love ourselves. I start by talking to the author of Praying with Our Feet to learn how we can better help our unhoused friends. Next, I'll consult with a legendary financial therapist and coach to uncover how women can rewire their brains for wealth. Then we'll visit the inaugural Winterfest at Gaylord Opryland Resort for an insider's look at their free fire and ice skating show. Finally, I'll introduce you to some of the sweetest swimmers in Nashville and tell you how you can help their cause. So get ready to open your heart and mind, because this is the Sami Cone Show.
From the News Channel 5 Network, this is the Sami Cone Show.
In a year that's been hard for all of us, it's been especially hard for one community in particular, and that's why I've asked my guest Lindsay to join us. She's the author of Praying with Our Feet. Lindsay, thank you so much for coming on the Sami Cone Show today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be with you.
I mean, we've been volunteering with Open Table of Nashville, which you co-founded for years, and I mean, I couldn't even get through the prologue without this wrecking me. The book, we'll talk more about the book too, but I want you to just talk about even the title. You say in the prologue, it's a tale of learning to pray with our feet when our spirits were weary about the state of the world. Can you talk to us even just about this title and where it came from?
Yeah, so I was raised with a very personal faith, right, in the Christian tradition, and it took me a while to realize that faith, that personal faith, called me to act in the world. All of us who are people of faith and conviction need to be able to act on those, right, in order to make them real. And I really understood that a little bit more fully when I was at college here in Nashville, and I came across this beautiful quote by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, which is of course what the title of the book is based on. And he was marching, you know, he had to flee Poland from the Nazis and was marching arm in arm with Martin Luther King in Alabama, and said, I felt as if our legs were praying. So there's a deep spiritual component to the work of justice as well. So the title is kind of twofold in that way.
Yeah, and so many of the guests I'm having on today really are talking about that, stepping out even when you're afraid or even when you don't know what the next step is. And I think I'm looking at your button that says housing is a human right. I think that's why homelessness has always been such a cause dear to my heart, because it should be something that we don't take for granted, right? Can you just define, even just the term unhoused? How can we redefine that, or what should we be defining that as?
You know, when we talk about our friends experiencing homelessness, it's really important to remember that they're people. They're not just the homeless or whatever. They're people first. And so we really understand that the root cause of homelessness is the lack of affordable housing. And it shouldn't be a radical concept that housing is a basic human right in this day and age. To live without housing, to live without health care, is to live in subhuman conditions in a society that has enough to go around if we shared more.
Yeah, I have teenagers, and I want to talk about how even we can help as a whole in just a minute, because one of the things, the first things my daughter did was help organize one of the shelter's closets, just basic things that we don't think that are needs. But one of the things you wrote about that really wrecked my daughter's heart was when you talked about our pets and our cars have better housing than some of our friends on the streets. What can we do? I mean, tell us, what can we do to make that stop and make a change?
There's really two levels we need to be acting on. We need to be showing kindness and compassion in those one-on-one encounters, even if that's keeping some supplies in our car when we're driving around, keeping warm socks, bottles of water, snacks, just showing compassion and affirming the dignity of people. Your kids are watching you. Your friends are watching how you interact. So we can model that kindness and that compassion. So that's one level. The other level is kindness lived out on a systemic level is justice, right? So joining groups like Open Table Nashville, joining other advocates that are working for a more equitable and just system. If we had more affordable housing, we wouldn't have homelessness on the scale that we have right now. So we put out calls to action. People can follow the work we're doing, but just getting involved. Everyone can start where they are and take that next step. It doesn't have to be moving from, being at home to being an activist on the streets. It's just keep doing that next step.
Yeah, you know, we don't have a lot of time left. There's so many questions I want to address, but you talk in the book about we see the exterior, right? We look at the effect and not always the cause. What do you think is one of the most pervasive misconceptions about our unhoused friends?
A lot of people think that people that are experiencing homelessness did something to get there. But the truth is that we all make mistakes in our life.
Amen.
A lot of us just have the resources to make those mistakes go away, right? So the root cause of homelessness is the lack of affordable housing and the lack of adequate wages. If we're addressing that, then people can keep making mistakes and keep healing from those, but not have to have it cost them their housing.
I'm so grateful you came to talk about this really important topic. Praying with Our Feet is the book. Lindsay Cranks, we're going to put all the information there so people can find the book. Thank you so much for joining me today and for the fight that we will continue to help you fight for our unhoused friends. Thank you for being here.
So good to be with you. Thank you.
Appreciate it. For years, you've come to me for help with saving money, but isn't there so much more than that? Our next guest says yes. Barbara Houston, welcome to the Sami Cone Show. I'm really excited to have you here to talk about your new book, Rewire for Wealth. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. You know, this is such a practical read. First of all, let me let me say that. But can you tell our viewers a little bit more about why this is such an important topic to you?
Because I spent the past 25 years as a financial therapist and wealth coach, empowering women financially. And about 6 years ago, I discovered neuroscience, the study of the brain. And I realized if I could incorporate neuroscience into my work around personal finance and with psychology, that I could expedite the learning curve and really, really speed up women's financial empowerment. And it's proved so powerful.
Yeah, we're going to get to your 3 steps that you talk about in this book in just a second, but can you speak a little bit more, because you've been in the money realm for years. I'll let people go to your site to learn more about your personal story and who your father was and all of that, but why do you think women typically are such under-earners?
Well, typically, women tend to give away their time, their knowledge, their skills for free or bargain prices because they don't believe they're worth more. Women tend to devalue ourselves. And not only that, we are notoriously codependent. We put everybody's needs before our own. But ask a woman to put herself first and really go for it, she'll start feeling guilty and scared and uncomfortable. And the #1 requirement to go to the next level in anything, but especially in earnings, is the willingness to be uncomfortable, the willingness to do what you think you can't or don't want to do.
Ouch, you are preaching to the choir right now, right? And that's really hard, especially during this time, you know, when we're filming, we're in the middle of this pandemic. People are really, I think, trying to keep this closed fist, right? Because it is a scarier time, especially financially than ever. What would you say is the first step to take if someone is going to be brave and rewire their brain? What is that first step they need to do?
Well, first of all, let me just, our brains have been wired from the beginning of time, millions and millions of years ago, for one purpose only, and that is survival and safety. And so you put us in the middle of a pandemic when our very survival is threatened, and we are going to absolutely go into self-protection, safety, and our fear center will be activated. So the key is to get out of that fear and to go into action. And that's where the brain comes into play. And so the key to going into action and on our fear is in training our mind to rewire our brain. And there's 3 steps to do that. So let me just tell you the 3 steps very quickly, and then we can talk about them in a little more detail.
Please do.
The 3 steps are recognize, reframe, and respond differently. So whenever you're having a negative, fearful, or unhealthy thought, like I'm not enough, or I can't handle this, or there's never enough, notice those. The first step is recognize that you are having a fearful thought, that you recognize your thought with curiosity and not criticism or judgment. Isn't that interesting? I'm having a thought about not having enough. And so you separate yourself from the thought. The second step is to reframe it. how can you see it differently? There's always another way to interpret something, always another way to look at it. And instead of there's never enough, you could reframe it, there'll be enough, many ways, or I know there'll be enough. And then from that place of, and you don't have to believe the reframe because you won't at first. You repeat it enough times, it will etch itself into your brain. And then you responding differently over and over. You keep doing what you don't want to do, what is scary to do, what you need to do. And you do those threes, recognize, reframe, and respond differently over and over again. And sooner before you know it, it's going to be easier and easier and easier to get the better results.
I'm so glad you're talking about this. I have teenagers, and just that power of your mind is so important to reinforce from a young age especially, but I don't think it's ever too late for us to learn that lesson. We do have a lot of women that are watching, a lot of busy women. Where would you tell them is, you know, for a woman that has really feels like she has time for nothing else to start in terms of increasing her earning potential after she's taken those 3 R's into effect?
What you do is you take those, you recognize, reframe, and respond differently. And what happens is your brain, you will automatically start seeing things you didn't see before, because what you're doing is changing your beliefs about you or about the world or about money. And when you, because the brain will only see, will only do, will only act on what confirms its beliefs. So when you start shifting your beliefs, your brain will start seeing all kinds of new possibilities.
That's great. Yeah, you have so many practical tips in your book, and it's really almost like a workbook within the book itself. There's so many really prompts that you give for women to not only assess where they are currently, but to think about what they're doing, where they want to be, and where they want to go. Can you tell people where to find more about your principles and the book?
Sure, you can go to my website, Barbara-Houston, HUSON.com, Barbara-Houston.com.
That's great. Barbara, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that you go check out more of Barbara's tips to find out how you can really rewire your brain for wealth. Thank you for joining us, Barbara.
Thank you.
I'm standing in the midst of Pine Top at Gaylord Opryland Resort for their inaugural Winterfest celebration. That's right. Whether you just couldn't get enough during the holidays or you missed some of the magical moments here at Opryland, I'm so excited that they are offering Winterfest for the first time ever. I'm going to be telling you all about the Winterfest packages, plus get an interview with some of the stars of their fantastic fire and ice skating show. I'm joined by Adrian and Will Ott, professional skaters that are here for the Fire and Ice Show at Gaylord Opryland Resort. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait to see the show. But before we get to that, tell me a little bit about what it was like just to be at Opryland for the first time during the winter season.
Yeah, we're from Pennsylvania, and to be down here in Nashville for this event is awesome. There's so many different things that are here. It's almost like being in a winter wonderland, really.
This is more than your average skating rink. There's trails and turns. Have you ever seen anything like this before?
I personally have never seen anything like this. This is our first show we've done skating outside. So for us, it's really special, and I know when we're walking in before the show, seeing all the family skating, it's really special for them too.
After just watching the Figure Skating Nationals, people aren't allowed to even watch a lot of competitions. People can walk right up and see this show.
If you come to this show, there are some national level skaters here doing tricks that you could see at the Olympics, doing all these different lifts and throws and jumps and so many different cool things that you can only see at high level skating.
For our Christmas show, it was really special because, you know, it was really focused on that Christmas spirit. But for this new show, for Winterfest, it's fire and ice. So we are really heating things up.
On the ice?
Oh yeah. When the fire starts, they're just blown out of the water.
In case someone isn't quite ice ready, you offer private lessons every day.
Every morning we have private ice skating lessons before the rink even opens to the public, so you get this whole entire ice to yourself to practice. And you have professional level skaters teaching you. It's not offered everywhere, so you should definitely jump on the opportunity, go to Gaylord's website and sign up for lessons.
Good.
When can people come and watch the fire and ice skating show?
Winterfest is Thursday through Sunday, and then our shows are Thursday through Sunday, 5 o'clock and 7 o'clock.
Of course, we're keeping socially distanced here. Marriott's commitment to clean. We have limited availability. It's just a great way to take advantage of all things winter here in Nashville and see some professional skaters. And Adrian, you're going to be able to give me a little bit of a lesson, give me some skating 101.
Oh yeah, I'm getting you ready for the show next year.
Yes,
Getting
I can't
you ready
wait.
for your audition.
Okay, let's see what we got.
So you just want to march, get a little bit of speed, and when you feel like you're like, oh, this is kind of fast, just here and glide. Perfect. Let's do swizzles because those are really fun.
Okay.
So you start heels together, push, and then pull your toes together. Yeah, that was really good. And then once you get better and better, you kind of do it. You start doing them faster.
See, now you're just making it look easy.
I gotta show off a little bit.
Oh yeah, you do.
I'm a performer for a living.
Yeah, you do. So in half an hour, you can take someone from beginner to being able to do it on their own.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, you're a little advanced. You're learning tricks already.
Well, I mean, come on, Adrian. I've got some skills in here, you know. We got a little. So beach ball.
Wind your beach ball.
Wind my beach ball.
Throw your beach
Throw
ball.
your
Give
beach
yourself
ball
a hug.
and hug.
Look at that.
Oh.
And an end pose.
I mean, even just in these few minutes, you've given me so many things to think about. It really made me more confident. I couldn't possibly tell you about all the fun things there are to do during Winterfest, but there are so many family-friendly activities, both outside and inside. From the flatboat rides to all of the winter lightscapes, a Jack Frost themed scavenger hunt, and so much more. But if you really want the biggest bang for your buck, you need to book a Soundwaves Experience package. That's right, even though it's winter, you can enjoy 84 degrees inside at the luxury water attraction right here at Gaylord Opryland Resort. From thrill rides to chill vibes, Soundwaves has everything you'd like. Plus, you can add on these Winterfest activities to get unlimited tubing and ice skating. Remember, there are limited spots available for some of these activities. You need to purchase your tickets in advance. And as always, social distancing is being practiced, but I couldn't think of a better way to experience Winterfest here in Nashville at Gaylord Opryland Resort. Go to GaylordOpryland.com for all the details and to book your package today. If you want to meet some of the sweetest swimmers in Nashville, you have come to the right place. I am joined by my friend and the executive director of Nashville Dolphins, Brenda Vroon. Hey, Brenda.
Hi, Sammy.
So I have to admit, you have been my kids' swim coach. We have a near and dear relationship, but you have taken on a new role that I am just over the moon excited about. Can you tell us about the Nashville Dolphins?
Yes, it's my favorite thing to talk about, so I would love to talk about it. So the Nashville Dolphins is a nonprofit organization, and we're the only one like it in the country. We provide free swim lessons and swim team to children and adults with special needs. But the coolest thing about the Nashville Dolphins is that once you're a dolphin, you're always a dolphin.
Wow.
So you never age out. And it's really important for our friends in the special needs community because a lot of times as they get older, there's not activities, there's not things for them to do. They don't have a community of people. So the Nashville Dolphins really gives them that.
And that was one of the things I think that struck me the most was that lack of age limit, right? Was because sometimes you see that focus on especially younger children. And I've been, just remarked at the events over the years where people are coming back. And what do you find from a volunteer standpoint? Because I see those relationships building, especially with some of the teens that
our volunteers are amazing, and we're run by over 150 volunteers.
Wow.
And our volunteers are so inspired, and they're so inspiring, and they keep coming back. And that's what's so amazing is the relationships that our volunteers get with the swimmers and how emotionally invested they get. It's really fun to see.
Okay, so selfishly, I'm going to ask, raising teenagers, what is the benefit of encouraging, the teens especially to volunteer, especially when they're like, I don't have time, I don't want to,
well,
what would you say to that?
The really neat thing is we have so many fabulous teenagers that just come back. And the main thing that I think that it teaches, you know, I'm a mom of 3 teenagers, grown adults, and it teaches them empathy. It teaches them that everybody's, you know, not like them, and that everybody's different. But the thing is a lot of times we focus on people with disability, but the Nashville Dolphins focuses on their ability.
I love it.
And so it's really fun to watch our volunteers just thrive in working with our population. It's quite awesome.
Well, we want to get as many people helping the Nashville Dolphins as possible. You have a special event coming up next month. Tell us about it.
So we have an event called Drive for Dolphins. We kind of had to rethink and do a COVID-friendly event. So Drive for Dolphins is going to be a drive-through shrimp boil where you can come and drive through and pick up your shrimps, 2 pounds of perfectly seasoned, awesome shrimp with corn, potatoes, and sausage, and either rum punch or beer. And you can drive through and pick it up, or with your ticket comes a chance to get a hole-in-one. And if you get a hole-in-one, you win a brand new Tesla.
I saw that. Is that for real? This isn't like one of those like little front, you know,
it's for
actual
real.
Tesla.
Yeah, actual Tesla worth $49,000. So yeah, if you're a big golfer, you can come and take your chance.
Even if you're not a big golfer.
Come take your chance. Exactly, for sure.
I mean, right, to win a Tesla. I just think that's, so doing something for a great cause, getting a great meal, plus chance to win a Tesla.
You can't beat it. You can't beat it.
Tell us when and where.
It's Sunday, March 7th, from 2 to 5 at the Harpeth Valley Golf Center. If you're not comfortable, you know, getting out, you can just drive through and pick up your shrimp, or you can stop. We're gonna have a tent and a band. You can have a socially distanced, safe time for a great cause.
We're gonna put some more information up there. Hope to see you there. Before I go, I need you to know that love knows no fear. As I reflect back over our time with my guest today, I see brave, fearless, and compassionate women. Yet deep down, I know they have all experienced scary moments to get to the places they are today. If they had listened to fear instead of stepping out in faith, the world may never have benefited from their calling and capabilities. Yet here they all are, now able to help us step into the lives we were made for. I teach my students that it's okay to be nervous. That just shows that you care. But what's not okay is to let fear permeate our spirit and paralyze us. 1 John 4:18 reminds us that there is no fear in love. Perfect love casts out fear. The creator of perfect love is God, who is also the author of wisdom. As I thought about these two characteristics side by side, James 3:17 popped into my head. The wisdom that comes from God is first of all pure, then peaceful, gentle, and easy to please. This wisdom is always ready to help those who are troubled and to do good for others. It is always fair and honest. So as we prepare to celebrate Valentine's Day, let's rethink how we define love. Perhaps the most loving thing we could do, both for ourselves and others, is to take that step of faith we've been putting off and see where it leads us. After all, it's impossible to give away what we don't first possess. Thank you to each of my guests, and a special thank you to our sponsor, Gaylord Opryland Resort, who makes it possible for me to share my passion projects with you. It's truly my hope that after today's show, you're one step closer to discovering and sharing your passions with the world. Have a great day, make sure you make it great, and do not wait to tell someone you love how you feel about them. Bye, friends.